Hey guys, it's the Extra Idiot with another LEGO gun. Today I present to you the M5A2 Folsom Carbine. The M5A2 Folsom Carbine is a fictitious American weapon featured in the Resistance franchise, being present in all three PlayStation 3 games, Resistance Retribution, and Resistance Burning Skies in one way or another. Whether wielded by friend or foe, it is the quintessential weapon of human forces. The design of the M5 is very similar in appearance to the American M1 and M14 rifles. The bolt, receiver, and rear sight seem almost completely identical to the essentially shared designs of both of them. The front sight and underbarrel gas tube are closer to those on the M1, and it has a handguard akin to modern M14 chassis lined with Picatinny rails. Though likely identical in concept and use, the design of the rails differs, featuring two triangular peaks angled down in the center and outside, mimicked as well as possible with these angled bricks. The rear of the weapon features a distinctive large wooden thumbhole stock. Although this name isn't actually used in-game, this is described as the origin for the weapon's nickname, the paddle. I used a 6-stud width on top and a 4-stud width for the main part of it to match the differentiation in its thickness. The thumbhole is made using varied angled pieces, and the grip of it uses a connection of Technic bricks inside to create this angle, allowing these 45-degree roof pieces to be placed along this contour, smoothing the corners and creating a more comfortable grip. An iconic in-game piece of kit is the attached M200 grenade launcher, with only one friendly NPC character occasionally firing it, and all others either unable to, or simply not having it. Use of this weapon is granted pretty much exclusively to the player, almost certainly to prevent your teammates from killing themselves and you. The grenade launcher's immediate explosive potential pairs nicely with the M5's average and well-rounded performance, making the rifle a good jack-of-all-trades. The M200 is nearly identical to the US M203 in form and function. It's mounted under the handguard and has the same general appearance, with a grooved grip surrounding the barrel. This piece slides forward and backwards in order to reload, my LEGO version making use of these rails and slotted bricks. With the two pieces in the center acting to stop it from sliding off. Besides the trigger, I only constructed this for the looks, not focusing on making it work. To mount the grenade launcher, it appears to slide into this block on the underside of the rifle. These circular pieces then probably lock it into place, either screwing in to tighten down on it, or being circular beams with a flat portion cut out that would block its movement in the correct orientation. Like the disassembly lever on various pistol designs, I mimicked a slot in this block and added a matching beam, but the LEGO grenade launcher simply uses these plates with one centered stud to match its 4-stud wide width to the 5-stud wide handguard, and is secured just by the sheer number of them. It's strong enough that it won't detach under realistic use, but stays relatively easy to take off in one piece. They don't actually do anything, but I did add these circular pieces for the aesthetic. Above the mounting point is this grip that wraps around the underside of the handguard, with a cutout for the mounting block, and appearing to cover some bits of the bottom rails. It has a stepped shape going up, and at the top is this short block going over the top of the handguard, connected on either side, with an identical one connected to the side rails. To make the connecting bars, I use a combination of these rocking pieces and these hinges and grabbers. I attached the grip to the LEGO model using these Technic pins, positioning it to create this gap at its rear. This created an issue for the bottom of it though, because the side plates are aligned with the Technic holes spaced halfway between the studs of normal LEGO bricks. Because of this, I made this bottom piece so that it could be mounted on the pegs on the underside of these pieces on the handguard, and also used these plates to mount it at its front. Fortunately, Technic bricks have holes in the top studs, so I could use these pieces to mount both the bottom portion and add more Technic pins to attach to the side panels, creating a more secure connection to the handguard. Up front, I used the same Technic pin connections with the side rails. The gas tube connects to the handguard with an axle peg and is mounted to the barrel with a Technic cross block. At the muzzle is a unique and somewhat unusual flash hider. Instead of having 3 or 4 thinner prongs at the end, something closed like the M16 birdcage design, or really, something based on anything that actually exists, the design of the M5A2 just looks like a relatively thin rectangular wedge was cut out of the end of the barrel horizontally. Despite the very simplistic design of this, I personally really like the look of this flash hider, and I find that something about it just fits with the overall look of the rifle. For the LEGO version, I use these Technic half beams with a notch in order to create a 1 stud thick cutout in the center. Now, as always, let's see it in action. A unique aspect of this weapon is its magazine, as this is the first time that I've utilized this design. To keep the rounds in place, this red arm is held forward by a strong rubber band and pulled backwards to release the rounds. In the weapon, the top round is held in place and just low enough that the next round can be re-secured by the arm. It's a simple design, but it does leave the possibility to accidentally... Let's slow that down a bit. Let's take a look inside. The trigger is connected by this bar to a lever in front of the magazine, which the trigger pushes downwards. Pulling the bolt back, we can see this round piece pulled forward by a rubber band looped through part of the bolt. It catches behind a round and, when the bolt is forward, pushes the round forward against the trigger lever. This half-stud thick Technic piece on the bolt is what acts on the magazine arm to pull it rearwards. Inserting the magazine, we can see it in action and how the round is pulled into the chamber. In this condition, I can demonstrate how, with the help of gravity at least, it's easy to remove the chambered round. Loading it again, we can now fire it. For anyone interested in building this themselves, I have a link to download the LEGO Digital Designer file in the description. Thanks for watching!